I went to a pretty normal high school in Pennsylvania. Nothing about it really stood out. It wasn't particularly big or particularly small. And aside from the usual teenage drama and occasional fights in the cafeteria, it was a safe place. At least, that's what everyone believed. My junior year, I had a study hall during the last period of the day. Most of the time, I'd just sit in the library and scroll through my phone until the bell rang. But one Thursday afternoon, the librarian had to leave early for some kind of meeting, and she told all of us to either go home if we had permission or report to an empty classroom at the end of the English hallway. There were only 5 of us left on campus without rides home yet, so we walked together down the nearly empty hallway. The lights were already dimmed for after-school hours, and most of the classrooms were locked. The room we were told to use was at the very end of the hall. When we got there, the door was slightly open, and the lights inside were off. One of the guys pushed it open and flipped the switch. Nothing happened. "Great," he muttered. "Lights don't work." We all laughed it off and stepped inside anyway. There was still enough light coming from the hallway to see. The classroom was one of those older ones that hadn't been renovated in years. Dust on the desks, old posters peeling off the walls, and a faint smell like the room hadn't been used in a long time. We spread out and sat at different desks, mostly on our phones. For the first few minutes, everything felt normal, quiet, but normal. Then the door slowly creaked shut behind us. None of us had touched it. At first, we just assumed it was the air pressure from the hallway or something. One of the girls stood up and opened it again, propping it with a chair. We joked about the place being haunted, then went back to our phones. A few minutes later, the overhead projector turned on by itself. The sudden hum made all of us look up at the same time. A dim blue screen appeared on the pull-down projector canvas at the front of the room, but nothing was connected to it. No laptop, no teacher's computer. Just a blank blue screen glowing faintly in the dark classroom. "Okay. That's weird," someone said. One of the guys walked to the teacher's desk and pressed a few buttons on the control panel. The projector turned off instantly. He shrugged and sat back down. About 10 seconds later, it turned back on. This time, there was text on the screen. White letters against the blue background. "Stay seated." We all stared at it. "Who's doing that?" the girl next to me asked. Nobody answered. The guy at the desk stood up again and unplugged the projector completely. The screen went black. He held up the power cable to show us it was disconnected. Then the projector hummed back to life, still unplugged. The same blue screen returned. New text appeared slowly, like someone typing. Attendance. A list of names began appearing, one by one. Our names. First mine, then the girl. Across from me, then the others. Each name typed itself out slowly across the screen until all 5 of us were listed. No one spoke. We just sat there staring. Then a 6th name appeared. None of us recognized it. The room felt suddenly colder. The chair blocking the door shifted slightly. Scraping across the floor by itself, the door opened just enough to reveal the dark hallway. Outside, footsteps echoed somewhere far down the corridor. Slow, heavy, getting closer. One of the guys whispered, "We should leave." Nobody moved. On the projector screen, the words changed again. "Do not leave your seats." The footsteps grew louder, closer. Then they stopped right outside the classroom door. A shadow stretched across the floor from the hallway light. Tall, thin, just standing there beyond the doorway, not moving. We couldn't see a face, just a silhouette. The projector clicked again. Next to each of our names, a small check mark appeared. Except for the sixth name. That one remained blank. The shadow in the doorway tilted slightly, like it was looking around the room, searching. Then the projector displayed a final message. One missing. The shadow stepped into the classroom. It moved slowly between the desks, passing each of us. I could hear breathing as it moved, low and steady, like someone calmly searching for something they already knew was there. It stopped at the empty desk in the back corner, the one no one had chosen to sit in. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then the desk chair pulled itself out slowly, with a loud scrape. The projector screen flickered. Next to the sixth name, a check mark appeared. The shadow turned toward the door and left the classroom. The door slammed shut behind it. The projector turned off. The lights suddenly flickered back on. Everything looked normal again. Quiet, empty, like nothing had happened. We ran out of that room and straight to the parking lot without saying a word. None of us waited for rides. We just left. The next morning, we asked the office about the classroom. The secretary looked confused and told us that room wasn't assigned for study hall anymore. It hadn't been used in years. When we asked why, she hesitated before answering. Because a student went missing there after school, she said quietly. About 6 years ago. None of us ever talked about what happened that afternoon. But every one of us remembered that sixth name on the screen. Because by the time we got home that night, none of us could remember what it was.